It is Sunday, October the 6th, 2024. The Vols go on the road and drop the game to Arkansas 14-19. Tennessee drops number 8 in the AP top 25. Florida is on deck. We'll look through some Twitter reactions from our fan base during this podcast. We'll ask some questions about this team, about the coaching, about everything we witnessed in that Arkansas game. There's only one way to put it. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. It was atrocious. Everything about that game was ugly. We came out second half. We didn't score any points in the first half. We came out second half and put 14 quick points up on the board. And after that, I don't know what happened. It was the most stagnant, stale, predictable, conservative offense that I've ever seen under Josh Heupel. But again, welcome to the channel podcast. We are here to talk about the things that happened on Saturday against Arkansas. Arkansas down Tennessee again, 14-19. Austin, let's just jump right into it, man. There's no other reason for us to even preface this. Let's dive right into it. Give me your first thoughts of that game because I've got my thoughts.
Well, we got out coached. Nico looks young and inexperienced, and I still have all the faith in the world in the guy, but he had a bad game, and he's not what he's going to be in the future. He's got a lot of developing to go, and Heupel coached that game a little scared, a little too conservative to the close to the hip, and it cost him. It got him killed. Penalties. We were very indisciplined throughout the game. It's not great. It was a bad performance, very, very bad, and off a bye week, and that's even increases how disappointing this was. Arkansas has a good defense. They a decent defense, and their offense is pretty average, but that was still probably the best offense we've seen all year, somehow. And yeah, it's just it sucks. There were moments in that game where if you capitalize right here and there, you pull this one out, and it still wasn't a good game, but you pull this one out. But we didn't capitalize on those moments, and it got us, and it sucks.
Glock Vols chimes in. No excuses at all. He does say the officiating was horribly one-sided, which it kind of was, but
no holds were ever called.
Yeah, like he said, no excuses. Like that game, the turning point in that game for me, what can just completely turn that game around is when we hit the punter. We ran into the punter, and that just completely killed anything we had going, because all you had to do was be disciplined. Just discipline with this team so far under Heupel. And it goes back to his beginning here. His teams aren't very disciplined. There's a lot of penalties under him and his regime. There's a lot of false starts. There's a lot of just ticky-tacky things that seem to show their ugly head time and time again. And I'm going to go ahead and say it, and I don't care what anybody thinks, because it's the truth. This is the truth. The same red flags keep popping up with Josh Heupel, and he's been here for 4 years. I mean, the same exact things. Like, you can't ignore it. I'm not saying fire him. That's stupid. So before anyone comes at me and says, "Oh, Rainey wants him fired," that's not true. I tweeted out earlier that I don't think Josh Heupel is the guy. I think he's a good coach. I think he's going to get you the 10 wins every season. He kind of reminds me of Mark Richt a little bit, where you're going to lose those ticky-tacky games. You're always going to be there. I could be wrong, and I want to eat my crow. I hope I eat my crow. Like, please let me eat my crow. But you've had a 4-year sample size of Josh Heupel, and the same red flags that got him in year 1, in year 2, in year 3 are the same red flags that are popping up in year 4. And that is you losing to someone that you shouldn't lose to. Tennessee came into that game a 14.5-point favorite. And I get that's a little high. I was a little nervous about that. I didn't like it that we were 14.5-point favorite. But to come on the road and the road thing with Josh Heupel is becoming a trend too. He absolutely sucks on the road, and that is the truth. That's an honest fact of the truth. He doesn't win many road games. He's won against big road games as LSU, Oklahoma, but then he'll go and drop a road game to someone he should beat, and so that's becoming a trend as well. And I know I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm just spitting. I'm telling you the facts. Like facts are not negativity. They are facts. They are what literally.
Name me a coach that coaches better on the road.
Do what?
Name me a coach that his teams play better on the road.
I don't care.
If it's on the road, your team's going to play worse.
I don't care. Austin, I don't care about anybody else. I don't care about the people that lost. I don't care. You should have walked into Fayetteville and took care of business. Like that's what good teams do.
I don't disagree.
We are a good football team. This team looked like a great football team coming to this game. And I texted my friend Ryan. He's a massive Arkansas fan. I said, "How you feeling about this game?" He said, "I am terrified." I am terrified was his exact words. I am terrified. So other fan bases and other teams are terrified when we come in to play them. But then this happens far too often when we go on the road and just get our throats kicked in. Like that game right there was so sloppy. It was coaching malpractice, in my opinion. Now, is it the end of the world? No. We could come out this week against Florida on Saturday and possibly everything connects. Everything works. Everything flows. But for right now, from last season to right now, these little ticky-tacky trends are happening. They keep happening. And if you disagree, then you're wrong because it's a proven fact that he's going to lose a game that he shouldn't lose. It's a proven fact that his teams are undisciplined. Those are facts. It's not an opinion. It's not I'm not being a negative, as people would say. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just the things that you see keep happening. And I'm not comparing him. Do not take the words and twist them right here. I'm not comparing him with Butch Jones. But earlier in Butch Jones' career, we ignored those red flags. We ignored it. Like, oh, we're just going to throw it to the side. They caught back up to him. Heupel's nowhere near Butch Jones. Heupel's a decent coach. He's a good coach. I'm not saying he's anywhere close to Butch Jones, but the red flags with him continue to pop their ugly head. And you can't say otherwise because it's true.
I will say this, though. There's a lot of issues I thought he had worked through that do come back up every now and then. Like you say, the same issues we see in year one and the same issues we're seeing in year four. I disagree with that on some bases. I feel like we called our offense was almost too fast back in the day or back in year one, and now it's the opposite. We're almost too slow now. It's like I mean, all of this is based on who you're working with, how good's your team. I mean, we've seen changes in the coaching staff, so it's all. But right now, the offense is going too slow. It doesn't look like a Josh Heupel offense. That's not okay. I'm worried about that. I think there's a lot of factors to do with that. I think he has a young quarterback. And I think they haven't put all the trust in the world in Nico, and that's you hope that will work itself out in the future. But I think at this moment right now, you just got to throw caution into the wind and let's just call this game however we have to call this game. I want to be aggressive. I want to go for people's throats. I want to be airing it downfield. And it sucks we still couldn't hit that past the squirrel, but man, we got to open this up. We can't be run screen. We can't be run screen all freaking day. I know the run sets up the pass. I get that, but still we have to open it up. In my opinion, we got to be more aggressive, and and Heupel got aggressive finally. It seemed like late in the game, but it might have been a little bit too late. If we coached that first half the same way we coached the second half, I think we probably win the game. But we waited a little too late to open everything up, and it got us. And don't get me wrong, winning on the college football. One thing I will say though, it is a crazy ass sport, and sometimes things just don't work how they're supposed to work. So that's why That's why I'm always a little quick to just throw labels on people and say this is always going to be your deal, even though some days it's not that bad and some days it's pretty good. But it's like, I don't know. And it was on the road in Fayetteville off a bye week though, so that really does
Hmm.
make it hard to defend that much, but it's what it is.
Pitt violation chimes in. He's an Alabama fan. He laughs and says, "Y'all are more in shambles than Alabama fans." Wait till the Paul Feinbaum show this week and get back to me, because your fans are going to be losing it on national television. I'm just telling you right now. I'm going to go back to our buddy Jordan Taylor up here. Jordan Taylor chimes in and says, "Do we think Arkansas is better than their record? They've lost a couple games they've led in. Arkansas is a good football team. I'm not going to take that. Yeah, I'm not going to take that away from them at all. They're a very good football team. They're a very solid football team. But when Tennessee rolls into Fayetteville, and Fayetteville is a very hard place to play. It's a very underrated place, in college football. It's very loud. It's very their fans are very passionate about them. But when you roll in there and you have way more talent than they have, and you do the things that you did, and the play calling that was called, and just everything, it's just bad. It's unacceptable. Like it is unacceptable the way this game was called, and there's no way around it. This was pathetically called game. You tucked your tail between your legs. You were scared. I do not understand what happened to the tempo. Like you are. I mean, the media outlets across the country. Oh, Josh Heupel's his offensive mind. I'm starting to think he's not. I'm sorry.
No, that's not. I don't buy that.
Okay,
man.
okay. So
15 years of coaching, 2 year
prove me
sample
wrong.
size.
Prove me
Okay,
wrong. The last
I'm
two
not gonna.
seasons.
I'm not gonna let a sample size with quarterback, a 19-year-old quarterback, and a guy that's clearly never gonna be good. Say
Prove me
that
wrong,
about a
though.
guy.
The last 2 seasons, it's declined. Prove me wrong.
It has declined, but I still
Yes.
think he's a good coach. I think he will
I'm
adjust.
not
I
saying
think
he's
I think
not.
I think he needs to. I think he. I don't think he trusts his quarterbacks right now. I got to be
Why?
honest. And I
Why?
think our line is a part of it. I think the offensive line has declined a lot from where they were 2 years ago.
Why do you hold a quarterback out for an entire season just to throw him out there and be this conservative? It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense when you're watching the game. It's like, dude, we waited on this guy. You benched him and kept him on the bench to get him ready, and then you throw him out there and you play so conservative. Like, I get early in the season we were playing crap opponents, but we are running the offense to perfection. What happened? Like, you are like the last game, and I'm sorry I'm getting fed up because my battered ball syndrome's kicking in, because it just is. BVS is a real thing. It will continue to bite you. It continue to come and get you. But early in the season, you're running your offense to perfection. You're going up and like snap, 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 up and down the field. Boom, 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 boom. And then all of a sudden it just changes. Like, what is this? Who is this team? Like, what are we doing? Like, who is this?
I will say, you said there is a problem with hype on the road, and I will say, I still will state that everybody's going to play worse on the road. But we always noticed, even under Hooker, our tempo wasn't as great when we're on the road because, the communication's bad. So I think that might be a part of it. I think all the games we're complaining about with tempo were on the road in hostile environments. So I think that is a factor with it. Still, it shouldn't be this bad because I just, man, we got to just open this up, man. And sucks. Okay, I will say this. There is one person on the staff I want fired. If David Sanders is willing to come here without Glenn Ellerby, then fire Glenn Ellerby, because that is the only thing that makes me want to keep him is David Sanders. Because Glenn Ellerby, it is year 4 of the Josh Heupel era. Do you know how many offensive linemen we have started that we recruited out of high school? It's this many. He's not developed one. And our line's bad. Our line's the worst thing on the offense. I don't care what anyone says. Cooper Mays is just holding up by a fingernail at this point. And it's ridiculous. We shouldn't be so thin at depth. We've had 4 years to develop guys and that we recruited, and the only one of them that's starting is actually on Arkansas's team, and that's Nichols, who actually was finally starter, good enough to be a starter after he left UT. So I think Heupel needs to stop. Like we've heard about Ellerby's troubles on the recruiting trail. We've heard about how he's just not that locked in, and I don't think he develops guys well. I don't see much of a reason to keep him other than he's apparently good friends with Heupel. I think we should upgrade, and I don't know if Arkansas fires Pittman now, but because I wanted to hire Sam Pittman to be our off the flying coach, but I don't think that's going to be an option if Sam can keep his job. But it's still early in the year, so who's to say there? But man, I will say this: how much worse? Okay, before the game started, or in the first quarter, I guess I was thinking to myself, "Oh man, it's gonna be so awesome. We get this win, and Alabama lost to Vandy, and we can just laugh at Alabama fans all day." And now we can't do that. But I will say, this would be a lot worse if Bama didn't lose to Vandy. That's one thing. It's made this a little easier to stomach now that we're not the only ones down in the mud. So,
Well, I mean, yeah, because you can say, listen, I've said it a million times. I don't care about any other team. I care about my team. But when you look at college football as a whole, it's a freaking mess. Like this is the most parity we've had in college football in a long time. And everyone has a loss except for Texas. Eventually they're probably going to slip up. I mean, they might. I'm not sure. Their schedule's pretty a cakewalk. They still got. They play Georgia. They play Georgia.
They play Georgia when we play Bama.
Okay. So I'm not. Tennessee's still in the mix. I mean, they're number 8 in the country, and the only reason why I get so worked up is because of what I said earlier. It's the same red flags that pop up every season. And Tennessee probably can't lose more than one more game unless all these teams in the top 25 just start just dropping some games and Tennessee stays in the mix. Not really. Everybody's dropped one game. So, and I don't know. It's just like,
I'll say that one team with 9 wins will get into the playoff. I'm going to call that.
Yeah, well, of course, but I just you had, in my opinion, if you're Tennessee, this was more of a must win than any game because this week against Florida, this will determine your entire season. This will determine the whole season right here. This game. So Tennessee's either going to come out with a fire under their ass, and they're going to come out and they're going to be pissed off and they're going to want to just beat their ever living crap out of Florida, or this is going to be in their heads. And I'm no psychiatrist or anything like that, but Tennessee's body language after the game last night, it was a little eye opening because Amari Thomas throwing those fans down to the ground. That could either be I'm pissed off and this is not going to happen again, or it's in their heads. Either way, it's not a good look. It's not a good thing. It's too.
He needs to be suspended.
Yes, it was too emotional. I mean, I get you love the game, but people keep comparing that to the Alabama player Burton hitting the girl when she was on the field. For me, in my opinion, it was far worse than that because the girl hit the ground so daggum hard. Like, the
Bama one was worse because you can't hit a woman, and a girl did fall, but it was because Omari hit the guy and he fell into the girl. So I would say the Burton one was worse, but either way, he needs to be suspended. Unlike what Alabama did, Alabama played him next week.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this comment from Baseballs right here because this is a big one too, in my opinion. Hype and the timeouts, man. Call a timeout after the Thornton catch, and we literally set it up. That right there, I don't know what was going on. That entire game was just a disaster. But on that last drive, that clock management was the worst thing I've ever seen him do. That was pathetic clock management. I remember looking up at the screen, like, oh, he's going to call timeout. I look down at my phone, I look back up, and there's like 14 seconds left. I'm like, what the crap just happened? And so I don't know. Like,
that's bad.
right now I'm just pissed off because
Yeah, we're all pissed.
yeah, it's just it's a natural reaction. You get pissed off, you get mad, you get angry because the whole country in the top 25 is falling apart, and you have a chance to do something good and just keep the momentum going. But man, what the was that? So I'm there right now. I woke up pissed off. Like I didn't sleep very well last night. I was so mad. I was so angry, and man, I just want Tennessee's not out of it. Okay,
No,
they're
no,
they're not even close to being out of it. Now, if they drop, well, one or two more games, yeah, it's going to be a little, yeah, they might be out
it's
of it.
over.
It's over. And if we lose to Florida this week, it's over. So Tennessee has to come out this week pissed off for greatness. They got to be pissed off for greatness. There is no other way. Josh Heupel has got to come out pissed off. He's got to throw the freaking barn at these fools. And if he doesn't, that's bad. That is real bad. So
yeah, I completely agree. We have to beat the living hell out of Florida. I think Florida beat UCF, and they're showing a little life right now. So that's not going to be a lay on. Like we can't just show up and win like we kind of thought we were going to be able to. But I need to see a lot of push from the O line. I need to see us to. I want to put up 40 points. I want to actually feel good about my team for once, for a change. It's this week. We got to restore the confidence, and you got to go into the Alabama game. And I'll be honest, you probably need to win that Alabama game. That's a big deal. It's a game you got to win, in my opinion. Alabama looks fragile. They don't really play well on the road. I think we can beat them. I think I got to see. But this week you got to restore confidence for the fan base in your offense. The offense, I never thought it would be that big of an issue with Nico, but it's a problem. Our offense is not good right now. We did feast on terrible teams. I hate to say that, but it's true. We feasted and built our stats up on playing nobodies. And last night it kind of showed you weren't that great, and you need to restore the confidence with a great performance against Florida.
Well, okay, so you said that we beat up on smaller opponents. We did. But the whole issue of, yes, we beat up on them, but we were running the offense. I don't know what else to say because Tennessee during those games were so crisp, so sharp, so fast, so quick. So it was that fast speed, get up to the line, make the defense huff and puff, run the ball to the middle, gain 6 yards, throw it deep. Like Tennessee, their deep passing game is irrelevant. Like they don't even take shots down the field anymore. The whole team was off. When Nico threw it down the field to, who was it, Squirrel White?
I can't remember. Over his head.
Right over his head. That's unlike them. Like what is going? I don't know, man.
I mean,
like
we don't know these guys yet. I mean, to me, a team once they win, games against tough opponents, and we haven't done that yet. I mean, Oklahoma, we basically just had to run. I mean, run pretty much to beat them. I mean, it was a pretty easy win. Oklahoma's wasn't that good. Their offense turned it over literally back-to-back times after we turned it over. It was never going to be yeah.
Mm-hmm. Megan chimes in. Offensive line is a problem, but Nico has shown that he can run and take a hit. Trust him. 100% agree. You got to trust your quarterback. You can't handicap your quarterback. Nico has got wheels on him. That dude can fly. He's long-strided, can get down the field in a blink of an eye because his strides are so long. I agree. Like you gotta design some quarterback runs for him. You got you put the running element in there for Nico, and the defenses have really got to start thinking. And that'll open up the pass. That'll open up passing. That'll get receivers. Our receivers can't get any separation at all. That will help with separation. When the DBs and the linebackers see, oh, Nico's about to start running. Nope, he's not. He's going to pull it up and throw the ball down the field. They need to design, and I'm no coach, but I don't care. When a quarterback runs and a quarterback is shifty, that's a problem for the other team. It always has been and always will be when you have a scrambling quarterback. It worries the defense. It worries the defensive coordinator when you got a game plan for numerous things. Nico doesn't nearly enough have design runs for him. And that's just my opinion.
Do you think in the long run this loss may be a good thing for us because we can address our flaws and kind of send a message to the whole team? Okay, if you don't get better in these areas or absolutely capitalize,
Mhm.
um, you're gonna lose. You're not unbeatable because I feel like we had strange era about us that we couldn't be beat or something. I think part of this, I think that the coaching in that game showed you that we had a mentality of we couldn't get beat because we were not trying to push it on, like we weren't trying to run away with that game when it was just a 1 point game in the second half. It felt like we were just playing around like, oh, we'll be fine. We'll win this game by points. It's cool. And then they came and punched us in the face and beat us.
Yeah.
And I just didn't feel I didn't see that sense of urgency in the play calling and the energy of the team. Maybe this will be a good wake up call because I still love this team. I still like this team. I still think it's a good team. I
I think a
think
lot of
this
people do, you know?
it's just this is a in in most seasons this would be absolutely a major loss, and it is a major loss, but it's not as major because of the 12-team playoff. You can still get in with 2 losses. Now, I don't want to take 2 losses, but I don't think we're going to win in Athens. I'm just be honest. Um, so I think you have to go undefeated at home to make a playoff push, and then you get a home playoff game at that point. And I
Ashley,
think that's on the table, especially if you watch what Alabama did this weekend.
mhm. Ashley Knight chimes in. Any news about Brew or Squirrel's injuries? Brew looked like he was pretty injured. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so does Squirrel. I don't have any news on them, but it looks like they're pretty. It looked from first initial contact of those injuries that they were pretty banged up. So I expect day to day with them.
We'll know Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll know something with injury reports and stuff like that. But it didn't look good. We lost a lot of players in a short amount of time in that game. Dude, I don't know. Donald
Do you
Payne
think
chimes in. Donald Payne chimes in. Squirrel broken collarbone. That's the second one. Donald Payne heard Squirrel has a broken collarbone, and Go Big Orange Squirrel broken collarbone. So that's 2 comments right there on the feed that say that Squirrel White has a broken collarbone.
that sucks? If that's the case, that
Mike
sucks.
Matthews. Mike
We do have
Matthews,
a
you're
deep
up.
receiver room, and yeah, Nimrod and guys like that are going to get opportunities.
Mhm.
It sucks to lose Squirrel, but I do have faith in the guys behind them. Uh, Behind them, man, we gotta do better at hitting those deep balls. I mean, if we have a receiver that's making space, I kind of thought Nico would be the guy just to nail those passes, but it's not been the case so far this year. I feel like he's missed on 3 or 4 of those. So that's
Mhm.
going to be a big deal. Of course, we're going to have less of those now with Swirl out, but I think Mike Matthews is going to get that space too. And I
Mhm.
think he's a little longer than Squirrel.
Also, I'm gonna propose this question to you from Go Vols on Twitter. Was the offense creativity we used to have more because of Golish, or does Heupel still have it?
It was not because of Golish. It was because of our O line was absolutely fantastic, and we had a quarterback that we trusted fully, and in Hendon Hooker. I think that was a big part of it, and not everyone had adjusted to Heupel's style of play too. I think uh, that's why I think it's most of that. Because if you look at the 2 games Joe Milton played with Golish, it was similar. We had similar problems. It looked we were running a lot of screen passes, a lot of 3 and outs. We had many 3 and outs. I even had that in the Orange Bowl. I don't know if Golish called the Orange Bowl. I think that was Halsley. But I just think a quarterback you can trust and a great O line are the 2 reasons why the offense was so great in 22 and mostly 21. I think that's what we're missing right now. I think I think the offensive line is a big issue. I'll be honest. I think that is the biggest issue on this team. I think the offensive line is not good. It's just it's not the worst. I mean, it's manageable, but they break down pretty freaking easy. It seems like I really don't like Glenn Ellerby.
Mm.
I think we need change right there because I don't think he's good. I think we do. Okay, I will say this. I've heard this from a few people. If there's one thing that Golish did that Heupel didn't is Golish was a hard ass. Golish was kind of like the bad cop in the room, the guy to make you, you know, hold you really accountable. And I think that might be missing a little bit on this team. I think creativity in the offense may not be a big difference, but I think guys, they don't look like they're playing hard enough on offense a lot of times.
Yeah, it looks lazy. I don't know. It's different. Eh, I I don't know, man. I do want to get to some Twitter people here. Before the podcast, I put a little graphic out there that says, "Drop your opinion below about the Arkansas game. We will read some of your comments on the show. Florida is on deck." So Baseballs chimes in. I just want to read them and kind of get your opinion after I read them all, Austin. Hype Baseball says Heupel coach conservatively, and I don't know if it's a QB or wide receiver issue or possibly both. Also, after the first down to Thornton at the end there, call a freaking timeout for F's sake. I think Kyle Big Howard, I think they should have brought in a different run scheme when Arkansas played a 3-3-5, make them get out of that and go 4 down linemen and utilize a tight end. That's a good one. Tight ends right there. Were the tight ends even used?
Kitzelman was used some, not enough. I don't know why they didn't do what they did against NC State when they went to a 3-3-5. They should have. It's adjustment we've seen this coaching staff make before. I guess they were a little thrown off by that defense being used because Arkansas may not be used that often. But I don't know.
Eagles fan says, leave Heupel at home for road games. He kills this team on the road. I do want. Why is it so much different for him at home than it is on the road? He coaches completely different. It's like there's two different people. I do not understand why you cannot have the same type of aggressiveness as you do at home as you can on the road. It's a massive drop off, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It gets so weird on the road, and I don't get it. It baffles me. Year 4 of them, it's a trend. It's a trend.
I mean, everyone's going to play worse on the road, but it is a big difference. And I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you. I mean, we've seen this team play well on the road, LSU or under Heupel, but yeah. But even then, South Carolina, we had trouble on the road.
Well, when you talk about
I think
games,
communication is a big deal. Communication with the staff, with and the players is a big deal. I don't know.
When you talk about road games, though, you can only name a couple. But that's a problem.
Good ones.
That's a problem. When you talk about the road wins, you can only name a couple. Like I don't know, man.
Well,
I know I'm all doom and gloom right now, but I'm more doom and gloom right now because of what we stated earlier. It's the same thing that keeps popping up, man. I don't know.
I think playing on the road is really tough. I will say that. I mean, when Vegas is doing games, it's a 14-point swing if you're at home versus on the road. That's how much that's how much difference it makes. So it's not some big thing like everyone plays worse on the road. I think that, but it will say that Heupel's offense doesn't run as well on the road. It's clear that they just aren't as smooth, aren't as fluent. They don't communicate as well. I do think it's a bit of, I think it's communication. I just think that's the biggest deal. And I don't. I will say it depends on the environment. We typically play pretty good at Vandy, but then again, it's at Vandy, so who knows? And Kentucky, we play pretty well at Kentucky. But yeah, if we get into a really hard environment like Arkansas is a hard place to play. It is, and
it's a very hard place to play. And
you know what I will say? I think we win that game. It's at noon. I don't know. I just think noon games, you're so much better on the road if it's a noon game. I think in general this team plays better early. I wish we had more early games.
We've gotten two back-to-back comments here from Megan Undisciplined and Todd. The other trend throughout the year 4 is a lack of discipline. That word in our comment section has come up a lot. discipline. They don't have it. It's true. When it's multiple people chiming in right here, and it's multiple people. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people on our comment section have mentioned discipline in the last 10 minutes.
Is that for the whole team or the offense?
The whole team just undisciplined. They're not disciplined. It's penalties, just stupid penalties, like the running into the kicker. Like that could have been easily avoided. Like if you're a special teams coach or you're any coach, stay away from the kicker. Like you got to tell your guys, listen, we're in a good spot right here. Let's just get the ball back. Stay away. Stay away. Don't go after him. And we just run straight into him, hit him in the head with our fist, right in the helmet. Like it's
a problem.
It's a problem. It's a problem, and you can't ignore it. And
it is that we've been one of the most penalized teams in the country every year under Heupel. It's a problem. We are very indisciplined. It's a common issue. I think Heupel's usually what we say though is, well, with this style of play, you're going to get penalties. But at the same time, that was the case. You could say that was the case in other years, but we're not playing that crazy right now. We're kind of playing a slow style of offense. At least the last 2 weeks we have. It's been very conservative and very not tempo based. So I don't know what the reason for that is. I will say you could say, I mean, it's been every year, so I guess you really can't say this, but Golesh was kind of the disciplinary guy on the staff, and you could say we're missing that a little bit because Heupel's very much a player's coach, and one of the guys, so that may be a part of it. I don't know. I don't want to throw that out there, but it's might be a thing.
Here's another thing that really, and again, I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but right now I'm pissed off. Everyone should be pissed off. You shouldn't be rainbows and butterflies and all this stuff. But when Arkansas loses their quarterback, their running back, and their starting kicker, and you're still doing this, that is like, how was it this bad? I can't even. I started to go back to just rewatch some of it on my phone, and I just turned it off immediately because I just remember everything that happened. Now we have Florida coming up this week, a team that has had our number from the freaking beginning of time. It seems like if Tennessee does not come out pissed off, ticked off, and wanting to actually murder someone on the field, our fan base is going to get real agitated.
Oh, if you lose to Florida, it's over, man. I mean, not over, not fired, obviously.
It's gonna be bad.
You don't know bad vibes. We felt like we were up on a mountaintop all off season. We thought we were coming with a great team, and once the season started, we felt like we were even better than that. And our fan base is high in that mountaintop. And if you knock us down that far with our $8 million quarterback with a 10% upcharge in season tickets, it's gonna be pretty bad. It's gonna be bad vibes, man. I feel like everyone here is been kind of acting like we're never gonna have a bad day again, but with the decisions they're making, no one's gonna say nothing about nothing if you're winning, but the second you start losing, buddy, that starts raining down on you, and I don't want to see that.
Glockball says Florida lost to Florida dismantles our program. That's not true. It won't dismantle our program.
It'll feel like it will. It'll feel like it will.
Feel like it. It won't dismantle the program.
It may tear down the stadium.
Our fan base will be very aggressive. You could say very aggressive because, like you just said, Austin, which was a great point. You felt like you were high on the mountaintop. And if you try to bring us down from that high, this fan base for so long was just sick of losing. They were tired of it. And Danny White, to his credit, has changed this entire program around. We got to give credit where credit is due with Danny White. Everything is rolling pretty good. Football is still good. I'm not saying it's not. We're observing what we're watching and giving you our take. This is a safe space. You can say what you want, and I don't care. You could be a sunshine pumper and give your opinion. I don't care. I'm going to come back at you with realistic facts of what's going on. You can hate it. You can love it. I don't care. It's what's going on. So Tennessee needs to come out, and they are capable of coming out. Like you said last night, Austin, we were watching the game. You said this out loud. This is just a bad game. It was a bad game. It was a very bad game. What Heupel has to prove to me is that after you have one of these bad games, that you can keep the team intact mentally and physically and come out. If you're the team that you think you are, come out and take Florida to the woodshed. You need to come out, not overthink. You just need to do it. Don't think, just do. Stop overthinking. Run a quick offense that you've been running, and just come out on fire, man. That's not, like, you cannot come out on a dud. And having 2 weeks to prepare for Arkansas, maybe they were looking ahead to Florida. I don't think they were.
No, I don't think they were.
Having 2 weeks to prepare for Arkansas and doing that's bad. That's real bad. So they need to come out and show you that they are the football team that everyone thinks they are. Because Tennessee didn't drop very far in the rankings. They dropped number 8. They only dropped 4 spots. So prove to us. We're stating facts here. The red flags are there. It happens every year. Flip the script on us. Make us realize that we're wrong. Make me realize that I'm wrong. That a lot of our fan base is wrong.
What's the number one thing we were so excited about this team? Oh my God, the offense is back. It left for 23 because we had a bad quarterback, but he's gone. We got Nico in there. We got good pieces. We're going to be great on offense. That was the big thinking, what we thought coming into this year. We come out in the year. We're firing against Chattanooga, firing against NC State, firing against Kent State. Then we go to Oklahoma, and we don't play that great. We play very conservatively, and we win by 10 points. And the thinking after the game is, oh my God, our defense is amazing. And hopefully that was just us coaching conservative because it's on the road, and we didn't have to be that aggressive because our defense was doing most of the work for us. And then we go into Arkansas. Defense plays our ass off, and the offense looks like the worst thing on God's green earth. We're slow. We can't hit passes. We're just a mess, and the offensive line can't get any push. We're going 3 and out. We're getting penalized out the ass. We have one good quarter, and that's about it. And that's all she wrote. Nico runs out of bounds as time expires, which, God help me, that was a dagger to the chest. But you got to restore the confidence. You got to say, okay, that was these last 2 weeks. Nico's still young, and he's still getting the offense. It's not as great as it can be, but it can be great. And this team can be great. They're not at their peak right now. This team is yet to play their best ball, and we're going to do that. And we're going to do that against Florida. We're going to go undefeated at home and make the playoff. That's what needs to happen. That's what we need to see.
Okay, so you said, I want to get to JJ's comment after this, but you said that's what needs to happen. Is that going to happen?
I hope.
Yeah. That's all you can really say.
It can. It can happen. It can happen. Absolutely, it can. Because you have a 5-star QB, you have elite receivers, you have. I've said a lot of criticism to the O-line, but it can be good enough. It definitely can be. It hasn't been, but I do believe that you have enough parts there to make it work. You have good running backs, and holy shit, we've already seen that your defense is good. It's not just good enough. It's not just like, oh, hopefully will survive us even when we score like 40 points a game. No, this defense literally just won you your toughest game of the year 2 weeks ago against Oklahoma. So yeah, I definitely think this can happen. I will say, of all the years to have a team like this, it's kind of the right year because college football, it's a complete mess. And on any given Saturday, you can beat anybody. Like if Tennessee plays Georgia 10 times on a neutral field, we're winning, I think, twice or 3 times. And same would go for Texas, same to go for maybe even more against Alabama. Um, so here's what I hope and I think will maybe happen this season. I think we're gonna go undefeated at home because this team, let's be honest, they do play a lot better at home. And I think that's a real thing. I think we can win all our home games. Alabama's very beatable. I think we're gonna go undefeated at home. We're gonna probably lose pretty solidly to Georgia. I think that'd be like a 31-10 score or something like that. Um, Maybe closer. I don't know. But and then we won't play an SEC championship game, and we'll get a home playoff game, and I think we'll win that because it's at home. And neutral field, who knows? We'll be so battle tested by at that point. Hopefully, we'll be a lot better team by the time we get to the playoff. So that is what I hope happens. That is my realistic thinking of what the best case scenario would be.
Mhm. JJ Tom chimes in on YouTube and said, "We've been trending upward on the recruiting trail in recent years, but due to these questions about Heupel, start impacting our recruiting and potential commitments."
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Our NIL solid. Everything's solid on this team. I think this is one game.
Well, the one thing that will impact that is the only thing JJ that will impact that is if we start losing a lot of games, because Tennessee recruits itself, really does, or like Austin said, our NIL games really strong. You've got to really show that you are incapable of, kind of like Butch Jones did in the last couple seasons. Our buddy Byron Moore that was on last week, Vol for Life Byron Moore, he basically said you could see the writing on the wall with Butch Jones. He was full of crap. Like the used car salesman stuff wasn't working anymore. The stuff on the field was visible, and you could see that we weren't winning on the field. Everything was kind of going backwards on the field. And that's when commits started leaving and going elsewhere. So as of right now, JJ, no, I don't think that's a problem right now. The only thing that's going to make that a problem is if you start losing. So
I will say this may affect recruiting in a negative or a positive way. I don't know. For the time being, I think it's time we finally fired somebody on the staff. If this team doesn't make the playoff, even if this team does make the playoff, the offensive line, it's an issue. And I'm tired of I'm tired of us saying Glenn Ellerby is the guy to fix it because he's not. He's just not. I have an axe to grind with this guy. And I think I did have Willie Martinez, but the DB's been better this year. I don't think they're good, but I think they're better. But I think he'll be retiring, and we'll probably replace him with someone better. But I want Glenn Ellerby fired. I'm tired of not developing guys. I'm tired of actually sending guys other places when they get developed. We just saw that with Addison Nichols. Addison Nichols is a good offensive lineman now. He spent 3 years here, a high 4-star out of high school, and he spent 3 years here. Never could put him out there without. We could never put him out there, and but he goes away for a year, and he's suddenly an SEC offensive lineman, a pretty good one. What the fuck? So yeah, I think Ellerby needs to go. I will say he did a good job with Darnell Wright, but Darnell Wright was going to be good with anybody, I think. I don't think he runs that room very well, and we have no depth there, and it's bad, and there's no reason to be bad when you've had this much time. So that's one thing I will say, and that could affect recruiting. I don't. Okay, I'll actually bite the bullet and say bring Ellerby back if it means we lose David Sanders, but I don't believe that would be the case. I think David Sanders is coming here because Tennessee's the right place for him, and we got a good NIL offer there and everything else. So I think David Sanders will be coming to Tennessee regardless of going to LRB. Yeah, and I want to replace LRB with a really good coach, with a really high dollar offensive lineman coach.
Lars chimes in. Offense has to get going. Score 21 points, and Tennessee wins that game. Should have been able to score 21 freaking points. Concerning that we couldn't.
Yeah,
Concerning that you couldn't put up. We had 0 points going into halftime. When was the last time that happened?
I don't think it's ever happened under Heupel. Yeah, that's fucking bad.
When was the last time
you came out of that game? You came out in that game, and we hit that first pass, to Thornton on our first drive, and you're like, okay, we're gonna be pretty good moving the ball here, and we got a penalty, man downfield, which was a ticky tack one. I didn't like that call. That was a very ticky tack penalty, but just nothing worked, and that, yeah, like you said, yeah, no, that only has ever happened under Heupel.
Glock Vols chimes in and says it was 2019 was the last time we didn't score any points. Hey Glock, can you look up and see what game that was? Because I'm curious.
Florida, probably.
2019 was the last time it happened. Okay.
That's like Florida.
You mentioned this last night. Let's play a little hypothetical game here. JJ chimes in on YouTube again. Maybe Pittman eventually gets fired. We fire LRB and hire Pittman. If that happened, holy hell. That would
That'd be great.
Would be wild because he's the best offensive line coach in the freaking country. AKA Jordan Nichols. No, is it Jordan Nichols? You said
Addison Nichols.
Addison Nichols, my bad. But man, to close this out, let's talk about Florida, man. Because Florida takes care of UCF, and Florida all of a sudden looks like they're I swear to God. Like
UCF just got their ass whipped by Deion. So
UCF's not very good. Like UCF's pretty bad. They're pretty bad.
They had a guy who caught a touchdown in 5 passes against Colorado. He just redshirted because he wants to hit the portal.
What will make you feel comfortable? I don't want to just. Last night we kept saying over and over again, just get out of Fayetteville with a win. Just get out. Just get out. Just get out.
Could have.
What do we have to do against Florida to make you feel comfortable about the rest of the season? What do we got to do to feel comfortable about the rest of the season moving forward? What do we need to see, Austin?
Obviously, if we scored 50 points on offense, I'd feel freaking amazing and just. But honest to God, just look like a Josh Heupel offense. Just look like things are going well. Look like the 2022 Tennessee Volunteers. That's what I want to see. I want to see a lot of good drives. I want to see things work. That's all I want. I want to see a lot of first downs. I want to see points. I want to hit some long passes. I want things to just look like they're flowing well. And I mean, it's not really any one specific thing. It's a whole with the offense, because fucking nothing worked well yet last night after a bye. And I think this team is capable of playing some great ball. I think we have some awesome parts here. I think we have a good quarterback. I think we have great receivers. I think the O-line can be good enough. I think we have good running backs. I think all good tight ends. I think everything on our team is at least good, is at a good level or great. I mean, Nico, on his best day, I think he looks like he should be the Heisman Trophy winner. I believe that to be the case. I haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen it yet, but I think that is his ceiling, is a Heisman Trophy caliber player. But overall against Florida, I just want to play some good ball. I just want to roll it out there, have a good opening drive, have just not stall out in the red zone that much.
I want them to have fun. Like, I want to go back to having fun. I want to go back to having fun.
Yeah.
This hasn't been fun. Like, they look like they're not having fun. Like the past, I know we played doo-doo, garbage ass teams to start the season, but they were out there having fun. They were out there having fun. And against Oklahoma, And then the previous game against Arkansas, it's like it was like a business approach. Like, stop making it kind of goes back to where Joe Montana was in the huddle. You've heard the story about Joe Montana being in the huddle with the 49ers on I think it might have been the game-winning drive. Can't really recall, but I'm pretty sure it was. Everyone was nervous in the huddle. Everyone was shaken up a little bit, nervous. It was Super Bowl. And then all Joe Montana did was look up to the crowd and say, "Oh, look, there's John Candy." And everyone looked over, and it kind of calmed him down. Where is our John Candy? There needs to be a John Candy with this offense. To something that just calms us down and says, look, go have fun. Look, there's John Candy. Go have fun. It's a stupid analogy, but it's true. Joe Montana looked up in the crowd in the middle of a huddle and said, "Oh, look, John Candy. Who's our John Candy? What's going to be our John Candy?"
I think you're right. This team just needs to feel comfortable, feel like they're the baddest motherfuckers, feel like they're a bunch of guys just out there having fun, playing ball. That's it. That's it. You nail it right on the head because everything was just tight. Everything was nervous. Everything was just like, I know it's on the road. That is going to happen on the road. It's more normal. You're going to play better ball at home than you are on the road. That's just a fact. But at the same time, it's just like, come on, guys. We're better than this. We are better than this. And I think that the team needs to know that. And I think, like with me in life, if I'm doing well at something, if I start, clicking with something, when you get that feeling of you're getting this, you got this, you get more confidence. And when I feel like we go out on that field against Florida and things just work in the offense, one thing will lead to the other, in my opinion. When you have one successful drive, it's going to lead to another. You're gonna get more confidence in what you're doing. I think we've had a lot of bad drives. I think Nico needs to just gain some confidence overall because he's the leader there. When your quarterback's feeling good, everyone's feeling good. Just like you said with the Joe Montana reference. He controls how everything works, how everyone feels. If you have a confident, good quarterback, that can fix literally everything in your team. I think all football fans pretty much know that, and that's what we need to happen. That's what needs to happen. I think he needs to start having some success against elite teams, and he'll get. I mean, he's 19 years old. He's going to get better. That's my thinking here. It makes sense, kind of, that he's not that amazing right now. He's pretty freaking young. It's not like a flip the switch thing. He's amazing. He's gonna have no problems. I mean, hell, we saw Arch Manning have a lot of problems against Mississippi State. It's normal for quarterbacks to just have some times where they're not feeling that good about themselves. I mean, Peyton Manning had his bad games at Tennessee. He lost to freaking Memphis. But I think it's more understandable when they're young too.
I want to end this podcast on a positive note. The last possession, when Nico rolled out, he didn't just roll out. He turned his back and ran the other direction and launched it down the field to Thornton. And Thornton caught it. We need more of that. That Nico was not scared. You know why? That Nico was not thinking. That Nico was just doing what he had to do to make a play. That Nico is a Nico that we need against Florida, of where when something breaks down, hey, I'm going to use my athleticism. I'm going to roll out and I'm going to throw it to someone that is open. And if it's not there, I'm going to run because I'm a damn good athlete. I'm a damn good quarterback, which he is. He's a damn good player. Sometimes, in my opinion, you said it just a second ago, he's young. He's 19. But there's a moment in time where when Josh Heupel calls a play or yada, 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 you say, okay, that's the play. But guess what? I'm the leader of this team, and I'm going to make my own play because I don't like your play. Like, I know that sounds contradicting, and like that your head coach is calling the play, but eventually you have to say, hey, man, I got to take this upon myself and make something happen. And that last play to get us down there was like a 30-yard pass. he looked like Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry. That's what I saw when he threw that, like rolled out and kind of threw it down the field. It was Patrick Mahomes-esque type. And I even think Kirk Herbstreit said something like that along the lines of, wow, that looked like Patrick Mahomes. It did. We need him to make those type of plays. We don't need to play scared. We don't need to be frigid. We need to come out not scared. We need that Nico. The Nico is like, I am better. I am faster. I'm more talented. We're better than you. We need that.
I like what Megan said earlier. Just get him out there and don't be worried about him getting hit. Don't worry about it. It's football. You might get hit, but also he's pretty freaking good on his feet. I think he can avoid stuff. He needs to get outside the pocket and just do more of that. I love that, like scramble. That's the most fun kind of football. That's when you really see how great athletes are. When you get them out in space and let them finally work. I think Nico, I think he grew. I will say, I think he grew after that game. I think he's a little more mature. I think because losing, you learn a lot more when you lose than you do when you win.
That is 100% correct. As any athlete out there that's ever played sports, when you lose, you learn so much more about what it takes to actually win. So, like I said, let's end this on positivity note. Tennessee. Is Tennessee going to come out and change the way they do things against Florida? Did this wake them up? There's a poll on channel right now. Does the loss against Arkansas light a fire underneath this team for their matchup against Florida? 45.9% say yes. This is almost 1,000 votes. 45.9% say yes. 54.1% say I'm worried.
Well, I'm always a little bit of both because who the hell knows, you know?
Yeah. We just need to come out and
beat their ass.
Yes.
Or the better team. Well, I honestly, I hate to say this, but we could play a little bit like we did last night in Oklahoma and still probably win that game against Florida. I hate to say that, but it's probably true.
No, we can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to. It could. I mean, Florida can be just as bad as Oklahoma. I'll say that. Well, I don't want that to be the case. I want to just beat their ass. I want everything to work like it should, and let's light them like a fucking candle. Let's win that shit 51-3. I mean, why not, man? Fuck it. We're Tennessee under Josh Heupel. We have a badass offense. We are known for that, and let's look like it for once this year against a good team.
Well, all right, man. This was a fun podcast.
No, it wasn't.
We got a lot of things off our chest. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun.
I mean, it was. I'm still depressed. I'm still just in morning mode. Okay.
This was therapy for me.
It's healthy. It was healthy. It wasn't fun. It was healthy.
Welcome into the therapy session of a channel podcast. Yes, it was therapy. It was a therapy session, but we'll find out this Saturday if this loss is going to light a fire under their ass or deflate them. Hopefully it's the first option. Light a fire.
Well, it's early in the year. It should light a fire, you know? It's early.
It should. But anyways, great podcast. We'll do it again next week. I'm your host, Rainey, alongside my good friend, Austin Brown. We will see you again next week. Go Balls. God bless.
Balls.
Peace out.
Yeah.